Hey y'all, happy Friday, TGIF. So I want to come at you guys with an update. I know like my previous video actually drops today, but a lot has happened in the last couple of days since I recorded that, so I was like, let me give them an update. So I think the last video I was telling you guys that I had to like put in all the stuff, like all the documents, for them to approve the like site prospector form. So on Monday, my preceptor, she told me to like, submit the form, like resubmit the site prospector form for a start for Friday, which is today, so that they could process it by, today, so I could be able to start. So, when I tried doing that, the school basically emailed me and was like, because she still has an active Capella student in their system, they can't process me until she's done with that student. So basically, like, I was a sitting duck until she was done. They did say, though, to contact them the day before, which was yesterday, or like early today, so they could like process it. At the same time, I had emailed my academic coach because I think I was telling you guys, more people were posting on the Facebook groups that they were having a hard time registering for 2 classes at the same time, like for capstone and a final class. So I just emailed her because I'm like, this is a lot of hearsay. Let me just see what she has to say. And she was like, yeah, so the school doesn't allow you to register for one class, for another class and capstone at the same time. They want it to be the last requirement, like the only one that you're taking. And so like I took a screenshot of the email and I posted it on the Facebook group for like Capella students, just so like everyone's aware, because it's a lot of like, oh, I heard this, I heard that, just so everyone knows. And then some people started like messaging like, oh, one person said like, oh, I was able to do it just last Friday and all I had to do was ask for a final approval by my academic coach. Someone else was like, I didn't even need an approval by the academic coach. I just registered while having another class open and it did it just fine for me. Like, no questions, no nothing. I was able to. And then someone else was like, oh, I got the same message from my academic coach that I'm only allowed to take capstone by itself. So I'm like, Capella is mad inconsistent with that. Like, you let some people do it. You don't let others do it. You let others do it with an approval. Like, keep it consistent. So I was like, you know what, let me just try my luck. So I sent my academic coach an email again. I was like, hey, so I know someone that's currently in the program that they said that they were able to have both classes open by getting a final approval from their academic coach. Would you be able to do that for me? I'm like, because my preceptor wants me to start on Friday. So it took her a couple days, but she emailed back, I think it was yesterday, and she was like, she's like, I'll see what I can do, just remind me tomorrow, which is today. So going back to yesterday, I was like, just in case she says no, because this was all on Monday, I was like, you know what, grind mode. And I think that's what I was telling you guys in the last video. I'm like, I was joking, like, yeah, I gotta do 4 papers in 4 days. That's what I did, y'all. Like, my head has been spinning this whole week. Like, literally submitted a paper Monday, Tuesday, really, it was like 12 a.m., so it was counted as Wednesday night. And then yesterday night, or evening, I should say, I submitted all my papers. My professor did grade 2 back so far. One, she gave me a basic. The first one, she gave me a basic on the APA, and it was only like 2 or 3 out of like 9 references that like were formatted incorrectly, and she gave me a basic, but the rest of like the stuff was like distinguished. So I just like resubmitted that because I'm like, I don't want to take any risks. I'm trying to close this class out. I don't want this basic to come and affect me later on if I really, really need it. So I'm like, all right, resubmitted that on like Tuesday or yeah. And then like my second paper, she graded yesterday. I got all distinguished on that. So I'm like, she just needs to grade the last 2 papers for me to close out the class. So Usually it takes up to 48 hours. Some professors grade before then. My professor takes the full 48 hours. So that's why I was trying to, originally in my head, I was trying to get everything done by Wednesday so that everything could be graded today. But unfortunately, I was so overwhelmed Wednesday night that I just had to submit one of the papers yesterday. So my third paper should be graded today. And then the fourth paper, I don't know if she'll grade on the weekends because they're not obligated to grade on the weekends, but I'm hoping she will. So by tomorrow or Sunday, I could close out the class. So just in case my, just in case my academic coach isn't able to, register me for both courses at the same time, I'll know it'll be done. So, yeah, so yesterday I asked my preceptor, I'm like, hey, do you still have an active Capella student? Because, they told me that they're not going to process the information if there's someone still active. So she said, it's fine, you could go ahead. So I submitted all, I resubmitted the stuff yesterday. And then, yeah, I basically told her hey, I submitted it. Now I'm just waiting to hear back from them. And she called me yesterday evening and was like, you need to be on top of them because you're starting tomorrow morning. And I was kind of you didn't tell me I was starting to in the morning. I got work. You didn't give me a time or nothing. No context besides you're starting on Friday. And I'm on top of that, I don't have a number for the school. I just have the email, and that's what I've been doing to contact them. So if they don't get back to me, they don't get back. I did, as far as what I can do on my end, I did it. So this morning now, wait, did I tell you guys? So my academic coach, I don't know if I said it, but my academic coach yesterday as well said to contact her today to just remind her to see what she can do. So this morning I woke up and the Practicum support person at 6 a.m. sent me an email hey, we were able to process your site prospector form. So your prereqs on that end is good. Your preceptor has been given login information. All you have to do is now submit the ready to review form. But just so we could process it, but just so you're aware, it takes about a few business days to process everything for the final approval. They were what you can do is email in again just to let us know. So maybe we could see what we could do. So I took a screenshot of that because my preceptor has been a little bit rushed in this process. So I'm I want her to know exactly what they said. And then I went into Core ELMS, submitted the ready to review form. And it was just I acknowledged that my preceptor met all the requirements. I acknowledged that I met all the requirements and ready to start. Literally, that was it. So I submitted that. I emailed Practicum support back. I replied to that email. I was hey, I just submitted the ready to review form. Is there a way that it could be processed today? Screenshotted that. And then I went in and I emailed my academic coach and I'm hey, just responding per the last email. Is that? No, okay. Just responding per the last email, if you're able to, get the approval for me. I did let the academic coach know that I've completed and submitted all my assignments for the class. All that's left now is for my professor to grade the last two papers. So just to give a little hey, honestly, I can be registered for both at the same time because I'm just waiting to be graded and then close the class. So I'm waiting to hear back from her. And then I went into my academic plan, and I just went in to see I clicked start now to see if I could register for Capstone. I already knew I couldn't because they didn't give the final approval for the site yet. But I wanted to see what professors were available and stuff as well. So I saw that, and then I attempted to register, and then it was you cannot register for the course until all prerequisites have been completed. So I screenshot that. I sent all of that to my preceptor so she is aware of what's going on. It's not me. I sent you the email of what Practicum said, that it could take a few days, a few business days, which I'm sure she already knows because I think that's why she wanted me to submit everything on Monday for today. She knows it takes a couple of days. So think she knows it's not realistic to really start today. I sent her the screenshot of me asking if it could be processed today. So it's like, I put an effort to see. And then I sent a screenshot of like, you know, what happened when I tried to register, like the little pop-up that said I can't register. So it's like, listen, we literally cannot start today until everything is processed. So I sent that all to her so she's aware. And that's literally all I could do. So as far as that, that's the update for today. I'm assuming that I will be starting next week, which is going to be a little funky because it is Thanksgiving weekend. And I am going away with my husband's family for the weekend as well, for their birthday, like his birthday and like another family member's birthday. So I don't know how we gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna bring my laptop with me during that time because I'm like, you know, maybe if I have downtime, I'll be able to, like, you know, do some hours with the preceptor as well as do the assignments. There are 6 assignments or assessments for capstone to be done. Like, the first one is just a phone call with the professor and the preceptor. People usually say it takes only 5 minutes. I talk about my PICO question. And the second one, I believe, is like doing the PICO. But basically all the assignments build up on each other. The final assignment is 25 to 30 pages, and it's basically just like adding all the assignments together besides the phone call, all of them together into like a 25 to 30 page paper. So yeah, so that is where I'm at right now in regards to capstone, in regards to finishing. But yeah, guys, literally, I know the last video was titled Almost There, but now I'm really almost there. It's like the final stretch. I think I keep saying that in the last 2 videos I said the final stretch. But yeah, we bending it over here. I'm gonna leave that out because that sounds crazy, but I'm not bending anything over for it. Yeah. But yeah, so we're making it do what it do. So yeah, guys, hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It is freezing, okay? So I have an update for you guys. I'm like, would it be a school vlog if something didn't happen? Like, something didn't go exactly the way I planned, right? So today is December 3rd. I know from my last video, I was telling you guys, like, yeah, you know, I should be doing my, my, what you call it, practicum, starting on, I think, a Friday or something like that, like 2 Fridays ago or something. And yeah, I was all excited, and long story short, it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because of my preceptor. So I was originally gonna do a separate video on this, but I figured, like, hey, while it's like fresh, let me just keep it in the vlog and let you guys know. So I'll let you guys know what happened. So yeah, grab a cup of tea. Before I start, I'm not saying the person's name. I'm just letting you guys know my experience and how that went, and you know. So I have a thing with, I would say, ignoring red flags in a work environment. I'm good with ignoring, like, not good with ignoring, but like, I'm good with seeing red flags outside of work. But in work, I'm like, I don't know, work or school or something like that, like, yeah. So I first met this preceptor online on Facebook. I made a post, and everything that I'm going to be saying to you guys, I do have receipts, so you guys will be able to see. I'll put the screenshots. Maybe I should move over, maybe somewhere here or somewhere here. But yeah, so I made a post on a Facebook group. I think I told you guys in previous videos how I met the preceptor, and I specifically said, when I asked for a preceptor, I'm like, I'm looking for a preceptor for late November / early December. Keep this in mind, y'all. Late November / early December. And the preceptor person, lady, she sent me, she commented on my post, and she said, like, hey, I can be able to help you. PM me. So I was like, fine. So I sent her DM. I went through all the like, hey, I only need 80 hours. She says she charges for 100 hours, regardless if I need 80 hours. I'm like, cool, whatever. Because at that point, like I told you guys in previous videos, she was the cheapest person that I came across so far. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I was like, are you affiliated with the school? She said yes. I double checked and she was telling the truth. So I was like, okay, I'll let you know once I'm ready to start practicum. She said, okay. Mind you, this was October 15th that I made that post and that I spoke to her first. October 15th. Remember I said I needed her for late November / early December. Okay, I told her I would get back to her. 1 week later, we're still in October, she calls me and she says, all right, so would you be able to start this Wednesday? I think she called me on like a Tuesday or something, meaning like the next day. And I'm like, I was confused at first. I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. I told you like late November, the earliest is when I'll be able to start. She said, okay. All right, just let me know. I'm like, okay. That was my first red flag that I should have ignored, because I specifically said late November, early December. Why is it 1 week later, we're still in October, and you're asking me to start tomorrow? That's the second red flag. There's a whole, I've been telling you guys from when I first started this whole practicum process, there's a whole like thing, like a whole process to go through for approval that usually doesn't just take the next day to get done. So I should have raised a red flag in my head when she asked if I could start the next day, because it's like, wait, we didn't do anything yet, like paperwork wise. So yeah, I was like, okay, that was weird. She's asked me to start tomorrow. I told her late November, but whatever. She knows now, late November, I'll be ready to start. Fast forward to 2 weeks later. Now it is, I believe it's like the first week of November, right? I'm in the same exact spot that I am right now, waiting for my patient's bus to come. And she calls me and she's like, hey, so you're going to be starting tomorrow. You're going to be starting tomorrow. So put all your paperwork in and, yeah, let your professor know that we're going to have the phone call tomorrow, because the first assessment for the capstone course is a phone call between the preceptor and the professor, just discussing like how it's going to go. And I'm like, wait, I can't do that. Mind you guys, this is when I was taking a bunch of classes at that time. And like I've said in the previous video, you're only allowed to have one other class open with capstone. And at that time, I think I had 2-3 classes left before, like, you know, 2, 3, or 4 classes left before getting a capstone. So I'm like, I cannot start tomorrow. I'm like, we didn't even get everything approved. She then says, I know how it goes. I've had Capella students before you, just like that. And she's like, so what you're going to do is, this is how she said it. So what you're going to do is you are going to register for your class, and then you're going to set up a phone call for your professor because we are starting tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm trying to explain to you. I'm like, there's classes that I have to take before I can even register for capstone. I'm like, I don't have a professor yet because I didn't register, because I didn't reach that point yet. I'm not even down to two classes yet to be able to register for capstone. So there's no professor to even have a phone call with. I didn't finish the classes, let alone we didn't even finish the paperwork yet. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to start tomorrow. First week of November, guys. Keep this in mind. So she's like, okay, well, just let me know, because I'm going to have to move you up in my schedule then, like, or move me down in her schedule. And I'm like, okay. That was the third red flag I should have seen, because I'm like, okay, that was a little bit more pushy. I'm like, how you gonna tell me I'm going to start tomorrow when, like, I'm like, if you've had Capella students before, then you know that there's no starting tomorrow when you haven't even been confirmed yet. At that point, she hadn't been confirmed, like, you know, so it's like there's a whole bunch of other things I have to do after the confirmation. and you're just telling me like you're gonna do this, and like kind of being snooty about it, like I already know I had Capella students before you. And I'm like, well, obviously not. If you're thinking I could start tomorrow with no paperwork approval, without being registered, you think I could just register just because you tell me to? Like, that's not how it works. So that was my third red flag. So she chilled for a little bit.
So I believe after that phone call, I got a confirmation from Capella that the site was confirmed. So that's when I submitted everything, like I told you guys in one of the previous videos. Like, I submitted the site prospector form and all the other requirements that I needed. And then the Practicum support guy from the school then emailed me and told me that they couldn't process any of my information, like the site prospector form, until she was done with her current learner, because she had a current active learner. So she couldn't have two active learners at the same time, basically. So I sent her this message basically saying that I would be done with my classes and ready to start within a week, or once my professor finishes grading everything. And then I told her that, hey, by the way, the school said that you have an active learner, so they're not going to process anything. So yeah, that's what the message is.
I would say fast forward to another week and a half. That's when she sent me a text again. Or no, this time it was a text. It wasn't a phone call. And she was like, so I'm going to need you to start on Saturday. And I'm like, all right, this is an issue now, because I'm like, what part of I will let you know when I'm ready do you not understand? On top of that, when we first discussed me needing a preceptor, I clearly stated late November / early December. We are now in like second or third week in, no, it was like second week in November. Why are you telling me when I am going to start? Let alone, we haven't even, like, at that point, I think the site had been confirmed, but we didn't do all the other stuff yet, like for the final approval to even be able to register for Capstone. So I'm like, something isn't clicking. That was my fourth. Am I at the fourth red flag? That I was like, all right, something's off. Okay. Like, something isn't right, because I'm like, if you said that you've had Capella students before, why is it not clicking that, like, there's an approval process? There's classes I have to take before I could take Capstone. Like, why aren't you getting it? You know what I mean? And at that point, I was like, all right, this lady's clearly just seeing dollar signs. She's like, you know, in her head, she's like, yeah, get them out as quick as I can. So I did tell her, I'm like, all right, I won't be able to start Capstone on Saturday. I was like, but I'm like, the following week, I should be able to, like, finish up my class. I'm waiting for my professor to grade. I feel like this was said in the last video. I was like, I'm waiting for my professor to grade, and then I'll be down to 2 classes, so I should be able to register for Capstone the next week. So I was like, I will let you know. I was like, can I submit the rest of the paperwork in the meantime? So I did offer, keep in mind, I said, should I submit my paperwork in the meantime, like the rest of the forms? I said this to her. She said, and like I said, I'll have a screenshot. So, like, she said something along the lines of
that she would have to put me on her schedule with the school before I'm approved. But if you wanted me to start right now, wouldn't you have told them already?
Which I'm like, that literally makes no sense, because I'm like, the school is going to take a couple of days to approve the rest of the paperwork. So when you want me to start is not when they're going to approve it. It takes days. It's a process. So I'm like, I don't know if she's just trying to leave it open so that she could register, like, have other students start. It was just like so bizarre. So I think that's where my last video, where the last update ended. So, and I think in this vlog, it's the video before this one starts, but, so I was able to finish up my class the next week. And then I told her, I'm like, hey, I finished my class. I believe it was like a Monday. I was like, I closed out my class. I'm officially ready to start. I'm like, cool. So I submit all my stuff for the school, which is the site prospector form, all the other forms that they want me to fill out beforehand. I submit it, and I'm like, cool, we should be ready to start. Because she's like, that's fine. I'm going to have you start on Friday. I'm like, cool. So I submit all those forms. I think later on in the day, the school sends me email back, and they were like, we can't, basically they were basically saying like, we can't process the site prospector form, which will make me active on her end. We can't process it because she has an active learner at this moment, like an active student from Capella at this moment. So I'm like, I sent her a screenshot. I sent it to her. Like, yeah, I took a screenshot and I sent it to her. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, so you were rushing me to start on Saturday when you already had an active Capella student, and Capella only lets you have one student at a time. So how was I going to start on Saturday? Like, you know, that literally made no sense. So I sent it to her. She said nothing. She looked at it. She said nothing. But the school did say in the email, like, since she wants me to start on Friday, because I told them she wants me to start on Friday, they said to just give them a reminder on either Thursday or Friday morning so that they could reprocess it again. So like I said, after I sent her that screenshot, she said nothing. I don't know if she was like embarrassed or pissed off because, like, you know, they wouldn't process my stuff while she had another student. But I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. That's on you. You're the one that's trying to rush me this whole time. Meanwhile, you had someone else, right? Okay. So fast forward to Thursday. I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, do you still have an active student? She said, it's fine. So I send them an email. I'm like, she says she now has an open schedule, and she would like for me to start tomorrow, which was the Friday. So please let me know like how fast you can do it, if you could process it. She then calls me up later on, and she's like, so you need to be on the school. You need to get on them because you're starting tomorrow. You have to start tomorrow. So you need to be on top of them for that. And I'm like, okay, sure. So Friday morning comes, which is when the previous video started. And this is now 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago from today, like 2 Fridays ago from today. So she now, the school messages me at like 5 a.m. The one guy from Practicum support, he was really, really good. He was like, okay, I processed your site prospector form. The next step is final approval. He was like, just letting you know, it does take a couple of business days. So I'm like, okay, took a screenshot, sent it to the preceptor. And that is when my nightmare began. Guys, when I tell you she harassed me, because that is the proper word of someone like just constantly calling you. I sent her the screenshot of what the school said. She said, call them again. You have to start today. Basically, guys, from 6 a.m. when I saw that email and like sent the screenshot to her, all the way till 6 p.m. on that Friday, or 6 or 7 p.m., she was harassing me. Call them again, call them again, send them another email. You have to start today. You have to start today. You have to start today. And I'm like, yo, like, if you said that you had Capella students before, you know that the final approval takes days. Like, that's why, like, I even figured, like, that's why she wanted me to send in all the paperwork on the Monday so that I could be ready to start on the Friday, because she knew it takes a couple of days. So why are you now harassing me to, like, constantly call the school back to back to back just so it could be processed today so we could start today? Like, I understand that's not happening. Why aren't you getting it? On top of that, what happened? She was like, oh, call your academic advisor. I called my academic advisor. She was like, all right, the best I could do for you is to put in a ticket to expedite it. But even that, it could take 2 to 4 business days. I sent that to the preceptor. That wasn't good enough. Like, y'all, I'm like, all I'm saying is I've worked in psych for 2 years. So I'm like, this isn't normal behavior, and I'll leave it at that. Take it however you want. I'm just like, this is not normal behavior. Like, what isn't clicking? What aren't you understanding that it is not happening today? Okay? Like, yeah. So she like constantly calling me. And like at one point I'm like, all right, I'm at work. Like, she needs to chill. So like, I like wasn't responding to her for a couple hours because I'm like, I don't know what else she wants me to do, but I have come to the realization that it's not starting that day. Why isn't she getting it? Like, you know? So yeah, my advisor put in a ticket to expedite it for at least 2 to 4 business days. 2 to 4 business days. So my preceptor calls me after work, and she's like, it got so bad. Sorry, I forgot this part. This is going to be a long video. It got so bad where I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask my academic advisor if she could get on a 3-way call between me, her, and the preceptor so she could explain it, because it seems that even though I'm trying to, is that the bus? All right, I'll pick this up later, y'all. Peace. Okay, I'm back. So basically, I wanted to get on a 3-way call. I asked my advisor if we could get on a 3-way call so that she can explain it to the preceptor, because I figured, like, all right, I've been trying to tell her that the school is saying, hey, it'll take 2 to 4 business days, even though it's like they expedite it to 2 to 4 business days, but like it's still not clicking in her head. So I'm like, maybe my advisor could explain to her, like, at least if she hears it from the school, like, you know, maybe then she'll understand. So my advisor was on another call, but she sent me a text from like the school's number, and she was like, so she cannot do a phone call without third-party authorization, but she said, forward this message to your preceptor. And it was basically saying like, hey, Ruby has all her requirements in, it's just that, like, you know, the final approval takes a couple of business days. She has put in a ticket to expedite it, blah, blah, blah. So I took a screenshot of that and I forwarded it to the preceptor. That backfired. Lady called me, preceptor called me, and she was like, I don't understand what this third-party approval is. What is that? I was like, well, I used a term that I use in like psych when I'm giving a report, and that pissed her off. I was like, well, I figured since you weren't processing what I was saying, that if you heard it from someone from the school, maybe, you know, you would understand better. Y'all, that pissed her off. She was like, no, I already know how it is. I had 5 Capella students before you. It must be something on your end. She started going in on me, y'all. She was like, maybe it's your grades or something. You're the slowest student I ever had to start. I don't know. It's definitely something with you. Like, she was, y'all, my blood was boiling, because I'm like, something wrong with me? I'm like, no. If you saw the emails that I sent you, it said that all my requirements are in. So the school is saying it takes a couple of business days. That has nothing to do with me. Like, you know, like I literally said that, what I should have said. But like, you know, like when you get into it with someone and then after the argument's over, that's when you remember all this stuff that you should have said. I should have said, the school said that you had an active student right when you wanted to start with me. So how's that my fault? On top of that, I told you I needed you late November / early December. You starting to ask me if I could start, or telling me that I'm going to start in October. That has nothing to do with me. That's you trying to rush me into starting. Like, you know, how's that me being slow? Maybe according to your time, but I'm starting or ready to start right when I told you that I'd be ready to start. So like, we had a little back and forth of like, she's just like, yeah, it's you. Maybe your grades weren't good or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, should I send you my transcript right now? Because they're all A's. And she was like, you know what? I'm driving right now. I'll just send you the payment information. And I was like, okay. I was not going to send her no payment, anything, because according to the message, and this is why I screenshot everything, just for legalities, you said $350 after approval, the other $350 right before I start. Because there hasn't been any final approval yet, that's what we're waiting on. So I'm not sending you any money whatsoever. So, but still in her head, it didn't click. She still thought like, oh, we're starting today. I'm like, yo, it's going to like 7 p.m. now. So I'm like, after that phone call, I was just like, I did cry. I'm a crier, okay? Because like, it's very frustrating. It like, the whole dealing with that lady had been very, very frustrating. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is wrong with her? Like, I don't care if she sees this. Like, there's something wrong. There is something wrong. I didn't say her name or nothing, so like she can't like try to be like, oh, defamation or anything. I didn't say her name, but something is wrong, okay? Because like I said, she wasn't processing it. Delulu, okay? So, she calls me back after and she's like, well, it looks like we're not going to start today, so just let me know when the school gets back. I'm like, all right. they did say 2 to 4 business days, so I'll just let you know. And she said, okay. And that's how we ended that. That was Friday. Can I tell you, Saturday, the very next day, she's like, any updates yet? Y'all, my husband is so funny. He was like, you should send her a screenshot of what business day means, because clearly this lady doesn't understand. So I said, no updates besides the email that they sent yesterday saying 2 to 4 business days. She was like, did you email them? I was like, you know what? I didn't even respond. I didn't open it. I'm like, no, we're not doing this again. Like, you're not about to, like, she was literally giving me anxiety. For a psych NP, you're giving me anxiety, okay? Like, so I didn't even respond. I didn't open that because I'm like, no, I'm going to let it click in your head what business day means. I'm not going to do this back and forth again. It is Saturday. It hasn't even been 1 business day. 2 business days from Friday means Monday, Tuesday. I'll let you know on Tuesday. Like, I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm like, you know what? She's not going to stress me out. So Sunday, I didn't even go on Facebook because that's how we've been communicating. Like, she would see I'm online and, like, try to call me. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even saying anything right now. Like, I'm not going online. I'm like, I need a detox from you because you're not about to stress me out because you don't understand. So Monday comes and I knew it. Like, I told my husband Sunday night, I'm like, yeah, she's going to hit me up tomorrow. And he's like, oh, no. Like, you already told her 2 business days. I'm like, no. Knowing how she is, knowing how impatient and insufferable she is, she's going to message me tomorrow. So Monday comes, which was last week Monday. Can I tell you guys, like, I was like, you know what? I'm at work. I'm not going to let her call me. I'm not going to pick up her calls until I hear back from the school. She calls me 6 times, guys. Back to back to back. Calling me, sending me a message. Any update yet? Calling me. And I'm like, is she okay right now? Like, is she really okay? Like, this isn't normal behavior. So she calls me. Oh, I forgot a big important part before I get to this. Friday, she was like, when she called me and we were having our back and forth, she was like, I don't understand. You're active on my side. So you should be able to register. And I was also sending her screenshots of, like, me, like, what the pop-up said when I tried to register, saying, like, I didn't finish the requirements, like, for approval. So, like, basically, once the site prospector form is processed, that is not the final approval. But I show up on her end as her active learner, and she shows up as my active preceptor. But that does not mean that we can start yet. She, in her mind, though, had it that because I showed up on her end in the core ELMS system that I was ready to start. So that's an important part because she believed that because I was an active student that I was ready to start, even though the emails and my advisor said no, and even though I showed her that I can't start, I can't even register yet, she still believed in her head, not listening to any other reasoning but her own mind, that I was ready to start. So Monday, she was call me 6 times. I didn't pick up. Call me from a New York number. I didn't pick up. She left me a voice message.
I just spoke to them. They said you've been on the active. Can you please register for your clinicals? Or if not, then I have to give your spot away to someone else because it's been a few days. You've been active since Friday. So if you can please check to register, or at least give me a call back. Bye.
And when I play that, I'm like, do you think I'm an idiot? Like, you're literally lying to my face. And I know you're lying. Number one.
So after looking back in the messages, she had sent a screenshot where she contacted the Practicum support guy that I was emailing, and all he did was confirm that I was her current active learner. That did not mean that I had final approval, even though she believed that, and that still didn't mean that I could register. And I showed her this by sending her screenshots where I wasn't able to register. But in her mind, she believed that me being active meant that I could register.
On top of that, she said the school said that I've been an active learner since Friday. You mean the same school, the same Practicum support and academic advisor, 2 separate parties who said I wasn't ready to start despite that because I hadn't had my final approval yet, which we're waiting on. And I'm like, you know what? This lady, it's never gonna click. No matter how many times I've tried to explain to her, no matter how many screenshots I've sent to her from the school, from my advisor, it is not clicking in that head. Nothing's there besides, let me get your money, you have to start now. So I was like, you know what? I waited till my break time. I sent her a message. I'm like, no problem. Since you say that, I'm like, first of all, I was like, you've been calling me while I'm at work. I'm like, but no problem. Since you say you have someone to replace me with, I have contacted the school to drop you as my preceptor. Have a happy holidays. Boom, that's it. I couldn't take it anymore, y'all. I couldn't, like, literally, insufferable is the word. Look up insufferable in the dictionary. That is a word that, like, you know, and the annoying thing is, that was Monday. All you had to do was wait one more business day. Tuesday would make it 2 business days. You couldn't even wait one more business day before you're like, I'm going to replace you. I have to lie. I have to say this. Like, what is your problem? What is the actual issue? Like, and the crazy thing is, because she couldn't start with me, and mind you, last week, because that happened last week was a holiday week. So, like, she couldn't even start with her new student last week. She would have to wait until this week to start. So if you had been patient for one more business day, you would have been able to start with me last week, and we probably would have been done this week. But because you couldn't just wait one more day, you have to lie and be all extra and call me nonstop. Like, you know, now you have no student to start. Now you don't get any money at all from me. I digress. Y'all, I couldn't do it. Like, she saw the message and she ain't saying nothing. And then I blocked her. I made sure I took screenshots of everything that happened, just in case. And then I blocked her. Because I'm like, yo, y'all, it was wild. I'm like, you're a DNP, a psych NP at that, and you're behaving this way? Like, do you not see anything wrong with the way you're behaving? Because I've been picking up on it since, like, you know, for like the last month or so. I'm like, something isn't right. Like, so, and I did contact the school and told them to drop her as my preceptor. What I didn't tell you guys is that, I don't know if I said in my previous video, but my sister's friend, who I originally wanted as my first preceptor, the one who didn't have a Gmail, so at the time when my preceptor was acting a little shady, I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask if I could have them process all her stuff, like the first person's stuff, as a backup site, because they did say, like, you know, if she sent her resume, they could vet her as a potential site. So I had them do that in the background, like behind the scenes, and they said, like, you know, all right, like, we processed her stuff, but you would only have to pick one preceptor. We can't do both of theirs at the same time. So I went ahead with, like, you know, the lady who was stressing me out, just because, like, she was ready to start. So once I dropped her as a preceptor, I asked the school, I'm like, hey, can you process my backup site now? I would like to make that my primary site. So they did it. They got back to me later on, like Monday afternoon, and they were like, all right, we have now processed the first person that I originally wanted that didn't have, like, a professional website. They're like, we're in the process now of creating an affiliation agreement. You should be hearing back within 3 weeks. If not, contact your potential preceptor to see if anything, like, what's going on. So I did send that to her. She is traveling. She told me that she'd be traveling until the 16th. So it's, like, perfect timing, because I'm like, all right, by then, like, the affiliation agreement should have gone through, and that way I could submit everything else and then we could start. So yeah, so I do have a backup. It's just like, you know, I'm not finishing right when I want to. My original goal was to finish by the 15th, so I wouldn't have to pay for another billing period. But now you guys know why. Hopefully you guys understand why, because, like, I'm like, I don't know how she had other students before me, that the one who was driving me crazy. I'm like, you're saying you had other students before me, but you're acting like you don't know what is going on. Like, or, like, maybe, like, some people, because they have a higher degree, they feel like you can't tell them anything. And that's how that lady was acting, because I'm like, I'm telling you what the school is saying. I'm telling you the process. And you're just like, yeah, I know. But then you're asking me questions and behaving as if you don't know. But it's like, you know, some people, when they get to a certain level, they're like, you can't tell me anything. I'm smarter than you. I know everything already. I'm know-all, like, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So right now I already finished my 6216 class. I'll show you guys, my academic plan now says I am 90% done, 12 out of 13 classes done. So I'm just waiting to start capstone now and practicum, and then I'll be able to graduate. But I won't be able to do that for another 2 weeks or so while they're doing the affiliation agreement with my original choice, and while she is out on vacation. So for right now, I'm just chilling. So you guys probably won't get another update from me for probably another 2 weeks regarding school and like practicum and anything like that. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what I have been going through behind the scenes. You know, at the time I didn't want to say anything in my previous videos because I'm like, all right, just in case that lady is my preceptor, I don't want her to see that I've been talking about her, like talking bad about her. But it's like I couldn't deal anymore. I could not deal. Like, even I was telling my mom, my husband, my dad, my brother, my sister, everyone was like, yeah, something isn't right. Like, because like, how can I explain, how I explained it to them and they're not even aware of like all the mechanisms of the school, and they were able to understand. But then I'm trying to explain to someone who had 5 Capella students before me and they can't get it, like, you know. So that is my update. I'm gonna try my best to upload in the meantime while I'm waiting. The next video hopefully should be why I left occupational health. Y'all, I recorded that video back in January and have had difficulty trying to upload it because it's so long. I re-recorded or recorded like an update of it like back in, I think, early November or so, or October, and like it still wasn't able to upload. I don't know why it's not able to upload, but I'm gonna still try because I want that to be the next video before my next Capella update. But that is my video, y'all. So yeah, not MSN yet. I know some people have been congratulating me. Thank you in advance, but not an MSN yet. We still in the waiting. 1 class left to go. 1 more class. Literally, capstone, that's it. So, yeah. So yeah, that's my update, guys. If you like it, please give this video a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.